right, I'm coming back to where you are. Hello, friends. Welcome. It's a wild day around here. This is Labor Day 2020. We've got about 20 guests coming over in 2 hours, hour and a half. In the meantime, this is Daily Art Adventure number 963, Phase 2 on 20 abstract paintings that I hope to do live auctions in a couple days. So for those of you who've never seen me do this before, the basic idea is it's an assembly line process. It's one way to do abstracts very quickly. Hopefully still good paintings, but executed more quickly than doing one by one by one by one. And again, for those of you who missed 2 days ago, or 3, whatever it was, when you buy one painting, you get 2. This one is thrown in free. And all of them, the backside of all of them, are this sort of cosmic outer space theme with some structure in it. That's all. All right, but the main painting that I'm selling, that's just kind of a gimmicky, fun thing. All right, so that was phase 1. And I'll let you in on my inner thought process as I go along. This painting had a pink orange, perhaps we could say, cast to it with a little bit of purple up here. And what I'm doing right now, as you can see, I hope, is transparent glazes or washes even on top of what was already there. My mind is thinking primarily, and this will probably be fairly consistent throughout this second phase, is number 1, color. Whatever color the painting is, when I pick it up, I'm probably going to go around the color wheel one way or the other, just one step. So like it was reddish, so I went orange. It was purplish up here, so I went more purple. In other words, very rarely in doing a glaze, at this point, very rarely would I go completely across the color wheel and do, say, red. Could happen, but not usual. The other thing, the more important thing I'm guessing this is what I'm going to be doing most of today, is looking for what I call trans shapes that go across the object. And the object that I had up here a minute ago was essentially the letter A. Very abstract, but it was lines more like this. And with this second layer, my thinking is to create larger shapes than that go across. So right now I have clearly a light shape, a mid-tone dark shape, and mid-tone, right? That gets us moving, at least slightly, at least slowly, gets us moving toward a good composition, okay? All these marks are just nothing but marks, just nothing but interestingness, okay? All right, that's it for number 1. And I just realized I have not set up a landing place for the paintings. Where are they going to go? I'll figure that out later. Figure that out in a minute. All right, here's painting number 2, more or less the letter B. And here's the back side of number 2. They all have their number on them. So in a couple days, when I start taking bids for these paintings, You always specify which painting you're bidding on, because I'm doing 20 all at the same time. You can't say, ooh, I want bid, $75 for that painting. Or you just have to say painting number, whatever. And it's the same painting, no matter which side. All right, so back to, this is mostly yellow-orange, right? So I'm not likely to go blue-green or purple. More likely to go red or, well, I should say, I could go green. I could go yellow-green, chartreuse yellow-green, right? So let me think for a minute. So I'm thinking color, either in a redward direction or a greenward. And you know what? I surprised myself. Surprise, surprise, surprise. I'm going to go green. And the reason for that is, quite simply, because I don't usually go green. I'm a lot more given. Green is not my favorite color. Of course, as an artist, we're not supposed to have favorite colors, but. So I'm going to, because it's unusual, I'm going to go green. Now, trans shapes. Right now I've got light and light. And yeah, I think I'm going to keep that. Oh, I'm also, of course, I'm thinking in terms of texture or brush strokes, interesting marks, of course, always, always, always interesting marks. Strengthen that stroke right there. For those of you who were with me the other day, you will remember that I was using the English alphabet as a boundary or a creativity structure to my otherwise anything goes. And this was the letter B. That does not mean that when this painting is finished, there will be a recognizable B, letter B. It does not mean that at all. In fact, very, very unlikely. Unlikely that will be the case. Okay, so the letter motif was really just something to get me started. That's all. I'm not committed to like retaining the recognizability of a letter, not at all. It happens. In fact, I would say slightly more than half the time. In fact, you can see the initial letter, but barely half time. I guess I should say, if that. Right now, I am in trouble. I can't have these dripping all over the hardwood floor. So bear with me just a minute. I'm going to do the same thing I did the other day. Toss both of these out in the front yard on our grass that is not very good. We like having a house that looks good. We've had really bad luck with our front yard for the last 13 years. It's a long story. Won't go into it. Just leave it at that. All right, number 3. Oh, let me show you the back. I'm calling this the front, and this is the back. Ooh. Ooh. So if you buy one painting, you get the second one free. And my thinking is you buy an inexpensive frame and you can switch it back and forth, depending what season it is, what room it's in, and all kinds of stuff. You might think that's a ridiculous idea. Sorry if you do. I've given away several, like as gifts, given wedding double two-sided paintings away, and people always seem to think it's really clever. All right, now this is interesting because I actually already have two. I have a contrasting palette, and this is the letter D, by the way. Circle, stamp, lowercase d. And it's yellow, orange, red, and blue. So that's I can pretty much go anywhere I want with this one. Thinking. I'm surrounded here by several sources of paint. In a minute here, I'll take a second and show you. As you can see, I decided to go with purple. it's likely, I'm not committing myself to this, but it's likely that the next layer, I'm going to leave those brushes purple because it's possible that that might be the color I use next. It's likely that the next layer, phase 3 of these paintings, will be white, opaque white. Ooh. Let me talk again while I paint a little bit about abstract paintings. I like abstract paintings. I like good abstract paintings. Let me be really mean for a minute. I describe myself as a card-carrying abstract painting snob. The reason is because in our world, in the art world these days, we all see so many bad abstract paintings. You might think mine are bad, so there we go. I'll describe what is a bad abstract painting. In my opinion, a bad abstract painting is one where the painter has no idea what they're doing. Whoops. They just throw paint around and hope something happens, right? That in my mind is, every once in a while they'll get something lucky and something good. All right, here's number 4, the letter E, capital E. And here is the backside, and we have some interesting unintended paint. I knew this was likely, and I have to decide what I'm going to do with that. I could do what you just saw me doing, which is scratch that off. I think that's probably what I'll do in this case, but I won't take time to do it right now necessarily. Another option is I will actually, like in this case, pick up some green paint and introduce it. This side is not varnished or anything, so I can do more to this. Anyway, I think that's going to happen on probably several of these because of the way I'm going. All right, clearly blue. So the 2 directions I can go color-wise: blue, color wheel, purple, green. I'm going to go purple, especially because I kept purple on my brushes. Number 2. Whoa. I've got a better, hang on, gang. I have a serious emergency here. You all are about to disappear completely. Whew. Wow. Oh, did you disappear already? Oh. Okay, bear with me just a minute. I had a device that had come loose. All right, are we there now? I think we are. All right. Number 1, color, easy, purple. Could go purple or green, but I've got purple already on the brushes. And I'm more of a purple guy than I'm a green guy. Second, trans shape. So that this is a good time to talk about. There's already shapes in this painting. Big shape, you could call it a line if you want. Big fat line, kind of fat line, medium, and compared to the rest, skinny line. Maybe another one over here. Okay, so there's shapes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I'll call those shapes. Clearly identifiable. I usually don't want to obliterate those. I want to bounce off them, play with them, respond to them. But with the second layer, I'm going to change from seeing, I'm going to call it shapy shapes. In this case, the shapy shape is the letter E. Okay, go with me, play with me. I'm going to shift from shapy shapes to trans shapes, which means large, light or dark zones on the canvas. And I keep calling this a canvas, even though it's a gator board. Cheap to ship, by the way. That's part of the reason why this is, I can send them more inexpensively than canvases. I want major, light and dark, and I know pretty much what I want already, so here we go. I'm going to save this light right here, but much of the rest of the painting is going to move toward mid-tone. Now that's pretty boring because I did all of that with the same color purple. So I'm just going to dip my brush, in this case into some red. So now I've got the reddish purple, and it just makes more interesting. I don't like this hard edge very much. I may change my mind later, but at the moment it's like, there we go. That's pretty. That's a pretty mark. Can you let me use the word pretty? Let me describe I'm sorry, I interrupted myself. I didn't finish talking about good abstract and bad abstract. Basically, and it's not that hard to differentiate. Basically, good abstract painting evidences intelligence. That is to say, I don't mean like smarty pants intelligence. I just mean a sentient creature, like a human being, actually worked at it. That's all. I don't mean like smart. I just mean evidence of thinking. And not all. In fact, many actually abstract painters and paintings actually are doing their best to avoid the evidence of intelligence. You know, many of the abstract paintings that you would see in your local art museum would fit that description. The artists are actually against the evidence of human intelligence. That's a long story. Historically, you might be saying, what do you mean? But I don't know, just, some of you don't know what I'm talking about. Others of you say, yep, that's exactly correct. I don't have the energy to go into it right now. Hang on. And again, all this stuff with pencils or the colored stuff that I'm using in the last several paintings has been watercolor sticks, sort of like cakes of watercolor, except they're in a stick form. You can draw with them. So now you see trans shape. You can still see the initial shapy shape, the letter E, right? You can still see it. It's still there. But it's been layered over by a trans shape, which is now light and dark. That's all. That's what I call. Now, when I'm doing representational paintings, the shapy shape is a person, a building, the side of a house, the side of a car, a mountain. You know, it's the object I'm painting. But in abstract painting, what I'm silly, in a silly tone, calling the shapy shape is just the obvious shape. I don't know how to say it. Shapy shape in the painting. All right, now it's going to take a minute. Here's painting number 5, green, Yahoo, and the backside. Ooh, I like that one. And you guys, I know you can't see a lot of what's going on in these paintings. There's a lot of stuff happening that you're not going to be able to see. A lot of texture, a lot of fine, webby, feathery stuff. I hope it's fun, interesting, fun to look at. Anyway, the other description I was going to give of good, quote unquote, good abstract paintings. Hang on just a second, let me think about color. I'm not going to go blue. I'm going to, in a sense, stick a little bit more with the green palette by mixing up some chartreuse yellow green. So I'm going in a yellow direction, but still inside the green family. All right, this, and I don't know what letter this is, I forget now. I think it's a G, as a matter of fact. And it's in my opinion, is quite a weak composition right now. Don't panic, because I'm here to fix it. What's weak about it is I've just got a donut hole. Great big opening, a shapy shape, really a square at an angle, right in the middle of the canvas. So that's not pleasant. Again, no need to panic, because I'm here to fix things like that. And I think simply by going like this, well, that is bright, isn't it? I like it. It's not like me. Chartreuse is not my most common color. I'm not done here, by the way. I'm going to do some other stuff to that. I'm going to pick up some phthalo blue. Again, it is not my goal to retain the original letter. I don't care. That was just something to get me started. Okay. In a sense, all that is out the window now. All I care about is what's on the canvas right now. So I have basically taken the big white square and chopped it mostly in half. So now we have a better placed light. And again, trans shape, light, dark. The last several minutes, last several paintings, I've really enjoyed taking a damp cotton rag and lifting off. Ooh, that's nice. All right, and let me get back. I keep trying to describe another way to describe good abstract painting, and it's very, very non-academic. Imagine when you're a little kid, because you have to have the mind of a child to get this. Imagine when you're a little kid, maybe you're one time helping your mom bake a cake, and she has a white colored batter in a bowl, and then she pours chocolate colored batter or food coloring or something, that doesn't really matter, and she begins to stir it in. It's a white fluid, colored mixed in, and any little kid who has eyeballs will look at that swirly when she just gets started and go, "Woo! Look at mommy, look at pretty," or something like that. That childlike impulse of allowing your eyes to be enchanted by what is often spontaneous, natural, unmanipulated, uncontrolled. Just that is to say, it's something that happens naturally. You can get exactly a better example. Smoke, water. Take a glass of water and put in a drop or two of food coloring and watch it start to go like this. Again, every child will be completely enchanted by that. Many adults have gotten adultish and grumpy, so they're no longer enchanted by that. But that's when an adult starts to cease being artistic, is when they're no longer enchanted by visual stuff like that. And in my opinion, that's a good way to describe good abstract painting. Is you can just point at it anywhere and go, "Ooh, that looks cool. Ooh, that looks cool." It's the letter H. Could also be the letter A, of course. I'm going to go red on this one. Haven't done much red yet in this go round. And some yellow. I have a 5-gallon bucket of water down here at by my right foot that allows me to swish brushes really quickly. That's what you hear me doing. Okay, 2 rags. pull back to more of the original bluish stuff. There we go. You can often get very nice effects by wiping paint off your canvas. Once again, I'm not painting on canvas, I'm painting on 1/2-inch gear board, which is sort of like a industrial strength foam core, if you will. All right. So once again, I've left the realm of shapy shapes, which is what I had when I got started, and have tried to come into the realm of trans shapes. Now, let me talk about that just a little bit. Hello, gang. Hello, Snoozer. And hello, Matt and Jennifer. Oh, sounds off. Doggone it. Thank you for letting me know. Wow, sorry about that. Technology sometimes really bails out. Okay, sound, Facebook, you have sound now. Thank you. And Sherry Maxwell from Asheville, home of, oh, got him right here. Asheville, home of Jonas Gerard, one of my favorite abstract painters. How about that? Do you know Jonas? I don't know if he's a nice guy. I've seen him on, I've never met him. Maybe I did meet him one time. Anyway, but I like his artwork. I was about to make a comment about this trans shape business. That is not terminology that I just made up today. That's terminology that I've used for some time. It goes under the category of, here, while I'm gone, for a second, the front yard. These are what I call 6 elements of design. I usually state them in this order: line, shape, design, value, color, texture. I don't know why, that's just the way they come up. I think that on that list that you're looking at right now, I think I arranged them, in my opinion, in order of priority. Is it values at the top? Yeah, then okay. Now here, there's some other art thinker believes that space and form are 2 classical elements of design, and I disagree. I could go on a long time. I coalesce these 2, space and form, into 1, composition or design. Now the problem is, these are the 6 elements of design, and one of the elements of design is the word design, which of course is confusing. So forgive me for that. But what I mean by design is composition, spatial, 2-dimensional layout of the painting or drawing. Okay, texture, color, shape, and line. So that gives me 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I consider play of light to be number 1. Number 2 is composition or design. Number 3 is texture, then color, then shape, then line. So yeah, I arrange these in my order from top to bottom, most important, least important. So I have color more than, it's 1, 2, 3, I have 4th out of 6, which is surprised most people. I put that, anyway, texture is more important than color in my book. Anyway, composition or design, by design I mean the use of the division of the 2-dimensional space. And I've talked about this a lot, I will talk about it again. The essence of design, in that sense of the word, is the major light or dark shapes in a painting. Either the major light or dark shapes should be describable by 1 word. All right, so this is number 7. By the way, let me show you the back of number 7. There we go. outer space, X marks the spot, evidently in this outer space. I like that one. All right. So the shape, this is the letter K. Again, I don't expect you or anybody else to recognize that. I just happen to recognize it. And the color in this one, I did this with a rag that had just a hodgepodge of colors on it, so I like it. This one is quite color neutral. I can do any color I want on this painting because it doesn't have a predominant color. But composition, you could almost say it's a subset of values, lights, darks. Values, light, dark, light, dark, light, dark, medium, okay? And a good composition is one in which the major light or dark zones can be described with essentially one word. And that's what I'm doing with this, what I have been calling so far today, trans shapes, shapes that go beyond, like in this case, line, 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 or the letter K if you want. None of this counts as shape, by the way. You might say, well, I kind of see a square there. Yeah, well, maybe you do, but no, that's too small and too fine. This is line, okay? In our list of elements, those are lines. Don't say, well, I see a letter B. No, 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 it's way too small. That's tiny. Like composition, we're not talking about little, we're talking about big stuff, all right? And this painting, this canvas, by the way, already has a pretty clear, it's got a shaft of light right here. And I just need to decide, am I gonna stick with that, or am I gonna sort of counter it and fight it, if you will? And the answer is, I'm going to stick with it. I'm not gonna fight it. And so I'm going to reinforce this. This is going to be my light zone. The question at the moment is what I'm going to go blue again on this one. Hang on just a moment. Let me pour up. I'm using clear acrylic medium. I have a butcher tray over here to my left that I'm using to mix, run my brush through different colors. So my goal in this layer is not to create so much a competing shape with that first shape, but to complement it in some way. Redefine it. Okay, good enough for starters. Now, a couple of damp rags. So here I've got a shaft of light at the moment. I'm not sure it'll stay this way. But at the moment, I've got one shaft of light going all the way through the painting from top to bottom. Yeah, I think I'm going to leave it for the moment. That is likely to get tweaked, modified, changed in later stages. I'm standing and looking at it. Going outside. I'm back. I'm sorry, you Facebook people. You're going by ambient sound. Sorry about that. The YouTube people. Facebook, if you want to watch a better broadcast, hang up on Facebook, go over to YouTube, do a search for Dan Nelson Art. I'm broadcasting on YouTube at the same time, and my stream is much better over there. All right, let me show you the back. This is number 8. Backside is ooh, purplish outer space. Ooh. and brownish on this side. I think this is the only painting that I had first time around that ended up with a brownish cast. And guess what? I'm gonna try to keep it brownish. I'm gonna do that by, I already had green on my brushes and now I'm mixed red, but that looks purple. Let's try some. I'm trying to get a brownish neutral color on my brushes without cleaning them. Yeah, that'll do. I just realized I've been doing too many paintings are coming out looking the same. I've got a shaft of light down the middle, so let's change it up a little bit here. And I'm playing a lot, as you can tell. I hope you can tell I'm playing a lot with texture. I have on this piece of paper over here a whole list of creative, crazy things to do with abstract paintings. They're just there to jog my heart, memory, thought into trying to. Oh, that's interesting. It's a little bit fly away, but for some reason it seems to be working. Ooh. There we go. Yeah, that's some nice lines. I can't believe I haven't done that already. That's number 8. So you Facebook people, forgive me just a moment. I'm taking it out the front door and throwing it in the front yard, face up, hopefully, so that it'll dry and not drip wet acrylic paint on our hardwood floor. All right, that's number 8. Here's number 9. Flying right along. I hope you can see. I hope you're discerning how it's possible to do abstract paintings really quickly using a assembly line technique instead of onesie by onesie. Hello, Monique. Snoozer, glad it's very relaxing. Glad to hear that. So this one, that's a strange color. Kind of pea soup green and with red accents. Well, good. The color that's on my brushes is already nondescript. By the way, most of my abstracts do tend to be fairly bright, high chroma, bright colors, but they don't have to be. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to see here. Oh, that's nice. Kind of a dirty blue. Hey, while I'm thinking about it, let me point out a mistake and an error that I see students making often, especially in the early stages of one of my painting classes, where we are just painting abstracts on the canvas. Many students, I think it's probably real close to 50% of my students, when I tell them to make an interesting mark on their canvas, they'll make a mark in the middle of their canvas rather than making their marks go all the way off the edge. So let me tell you a little bit what is happening there. And this will no doubt apply, help some of you if I share this with you. What the mistake they're making, so to speak, is the boundaries of their canvas are psychologically invisible to them. They are looking at the canvas as an infinite flat white plane, and they're doing a painting in the white plane. They're not consciously thinking, here's a line, here's a line, and there's a line. They're not consciously thinking of those as hard boundaries to their composition, because again, it's a psychological, to them, to their eye, those lines don't really exist. Their painting is here, and that's a wrong. Don't paint like your painting's here. No, your painting goes from this line to this line, and this one to this one. It covers the whole thing. And there you go. So just keep that in mind, okay? I'm doing some more red. I've got 2 pieces of watercolor stick in between those fingers. And the watercolor stick looks especially good after you hit it with water, because it explodes into color. All right, that's okay, except I've got a bit of what I call a donut hole. A donut hole is whenever you have a shape, any shape that's fairly large, that is all contained within the boundaries of, again, the canvas. And that, right now I have a light shape. This is the letter M, by the way. Doesn't matter. It's here, here, here. And it stops here, and it stops here. So it's a donut hole. It's a hole. And that generally, that's a weak composition. You want some part of that shape to go off the edge of the canvas. So it doesn't have that irritating donut hole feel. That's all I'm going to say about that. But I fixed it just by doing that. Okay? Once again, Facebook people, I'm taking just a minute to, did I show you the back of this one? I'm not sure that I did. No, oh, I didn't. Oh, it's got a leaf on it from the front yard. There's the back side of it. Now you can buy either side you want, but they come together, as you can see. All right. Let me toss this out in the front yard. What number's next? Number 10. So I'm almost halfway finished with this phase 2. Ooh. I don't know if that's an O or a Q, doesn't matter. I like it. I actually like it quite a bit. And there's the outer spacey side of number 10. I'm going to go quite different on this one. I've been using those brushes too much. Let's do something different. Yellow or red? Because it's yellow, right now it's yellow-red. So I can either go in an orange direction, orange-red direction, or green. I don't want to go green on this one. So I'm going orange, red, or brown. Standing here with my finger on my top lip. Yeah, for some reason, it's unusual for me. I'm going to go brownish. And just to help this big brush make marks a little bit better, I'm going to wet. Now here's something I'm seeing on this canvas that I haven't done on the others much. I quite like the white canvas. You understand, I keep calling it canvas just because then you know what I'm talking about, even though it's not canvas, it's panel. I'm going to wipe some of this off in just a minute, but I'm going to leave quite a bit of white or light on this one. I mentioned a little while ago, one of my favorite abstract painters lives in Asheville, North Carolina. And his name is Jonas Gerard with a G. And one of his characteristics is he preserves a lot of white canvas in most of his paintings. Works for him, doesn't usually work for me. I've tried. Happiness is knowing who you are and what works, what doesn't work. But in this case, I like the light that existed. There we go. Let's do some more drippy running stuff here. All right, I like it. That's number 10. This one's going to be hard not to drip across the floor between here and the front door. Speaking of which, do you guys don't know if those of you who paint in acrylics, denatured alcohol is a solvent for acrylics. Right? You should know that if you're an acrylic painter, because you're going to spill stuff sometime. It's also a solvent for polyurethane, which is what your hardwood floors are painted with. So be careful. It will pull the polyurethane off your floor or your furniture. And that's okay, as long as you know. Now, I'm wondering, nah, the drips are too, I mean, you can do drips, pointing the wrong way, but nah. But I'm finding this part of the painting more interesting than this down here. And look at that, it's another brown one. How about that? I must have been in a brown mood for a little while the other day. I'm gonna stick with a brownish cast, and I have nothing against dull, if you will, neutral toned brownish paintings. I've told you the story many times of a fellow artist, a friend of mine, when I was an illustrator way back in the 90s, he looked at me one time, I don't remember why the subject came up, but he looked at me and sort of chuckled and said, "Yeah, Dan, your favorite colors are brown and gray." And it was only funny because it was clearly true. I tended to favor a muted palette as an illustrator. You don't see that in my paintings much these days, because I've learned to compensate for my, I don't know if I'll call them weaknesses, but I didn't want to be I didn't prefer to be a brown-gray painter, so I've taken steps to compensate. This is different composition. Now it's light, dark, and it's a little difficult because the horizon, if you will, mostly light, mostly dark, and the horizon's almost in the middle. But I think I'm going to leave it because, oh no, I'm not even going to do this, because in probably the next layer is going to be opaque white, and I can do a lot of pulling, but here I'm doing it anyway. I've just about got that problem alleviated. Now that's interesting. By the way, there are elements of design, then there are principles of design. Principles are essentially the things you do to the elements, and one of the principle is let me see if it's over here. Rhythm. Yep, I've got a rhythm. Rhythm is a repetitious, more or less evenly spaced shape. So I've got rhythm here. Boom, 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 bum, 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 bum. Accidental rhythm can be very bad. I've got another rhythm up here. Boom, boom, boom. See, sort of equal spaced, and generally equal space is not a pleasant thing. But if you're aware of it and you're doing it on purpose, it can work for you. And that's what I've got going here is an intentional. This is called rhythm. All right. Those are the principles of design are not nearly as codified. There is no Bible for the principles of design, where there is, so to speak, a Bible for the elements of design. And my Facebook friends, I apologize to you again. I know I keep fading out on you. My next broadcast, I will take considerable pains to try to get your sound functioning. Bro says the dog, hello. I like that. Okay, there's the letter R. I can see that clearly. So the shapy shape is line, circle, line. And what I'm doing mostly in this phase 2 is doing trans shapes, trying to condense, not obliterate this. What I'm doing is transparent, so you'll still be able to see the shapy shape. But I'm trying to simplify the composition so that either the dark or the light shapes can be identified essentially by one word. The most common word I've had so far today has been shaft. Shaft of light, ray of light, stream of light, trapezoid of light, something like that. And again, I've got that possibly happening here, except with this big break here. So I've done that a lot today, so I don't want to necessarily. Let me tell you some of the way my brain is working then. If I kept this as my primary light area and darkened all of this, then the composition would be, in Edgar Payne language, mass. One light blob, everything else midtone or dark. To my way of thinking at the moment, that's kind of a too simple, kind of a cop-out composition. So I'm not real strongly inclined to do that. I'm thinking. Let me continue to think out loud with you. Whereas, if right now, if I took a dark midtone and darkened all of this, so with transparent, so you'd still be able to see this, but it would be pushed way back because all this would be dark. Does that make sense? And then this would not be a prominent design element anymore. And leave this light. I could leave an arrow, perhaps. See if that would be. I'm not committed to that by any means. Bear with me here for a minute while I. There are, by the way, other ways to think about composition. I've just described one. That is, where the major light or dark shapes are identifiable by one word. That's just one way to do composition, not the only way. The Edgar Payne design stem. Just Google that, Edgar Payne, P-A-Y-N-E, Edgar Payne design stems. That's another good way to think about composition. The third way is the 3 values, light, medium, and dark. 2 of those 3 need to be touching, just to put it most simply. And I'm still a little uncertain which way to go on this. So, and I've got blue, so I'm either going to go green or purple. Does that make sense? I could go yellow, orange. I could go jump all the way across the color wheel. But at this stage, I could go brown. You can always go brown, because that's in the middle of the color wheel, right? All the colors come together in the middle is brown. I'm having a hard time deciding which way to go here. Okay, I just dipped my grand big brush in purple and then in some dirty orange, so it's a dirty purple. So what you see me doing right now is something that I don't prefer to do, which is I'm painting like people that I disapprove of, which is I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just going to do something in hopes that something happens. Are you catching that? So you can accuse me of anything. Just don't accuse me of being always perfectly consistent, right? That would be erroneous. Honestly, I'm not panicking too much though, because I have a number of tricks up my sleeve just on this layer right here, let alone all the layers that are going to come in a minute. So what I'm thinking right now is that I'm covering pretty much almost the whole canvas, again, to use that word, covering almost the whole canvas with a mid-tone, and then I'm going to do some serious lifting out. By the way, just for what it's worth, I use two kinds of fabric very often. Terry cloth, which is the bumpy, more abrasive, pulls off more, and then whatever you call that, just regular cotton t-shirt material. The letter V. There, get rid of the V. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is actually what I had in mind. I thought, well, I'll cover up lots of the, canvas with a dark mid-tone and then lift out. And indeed, now I've got a letter X, don't I? And that's okay. It's not bad necessarily to have a. You can still see the original shapey shape, line, circle, line, but of course it's over painted now, and so it's more obscure. And which one is more prominent? And I sort of think the X shape is more. By the way, an X, just buy it for what it's worth. Again, Edgar Payne painting. An X is a pretty strong composition design stem. There's nothing wrong with it being an X. Oh, there's the mistake right there. Let's cover this back up. There we go. Yeah, that's good enough. What did I do? A few minutes ago, I did. And please understand what I'm doing right now. These are lines. These do not. They are elements of design, but they don't impact the composition. They're just little. They're too small. They're interesting. They're visually interesting, but they're not. They don't go into the category of composition. And I'm talking about, here's the 6 elements of design: value, composition or design, texture, color, shape, and line. I say there are 6 elements of design. Some people say 7. I disagree with them. Doesn't matter. No big deal. All right, now Facebook people, I'm going to fade out on you again. I'm going to carry this out the front yard, laying face up in the sun. Thank goodness it's not raining. It's not windy today, so all these paintings just lying down here just fine. And of course, they're all drying very quickly. By the time I bring out one, the last one I took out is dry. But they're all scattered across the front yard anyway. Whew. All right, how far are we? We're up to number 13. Let me find my razor here. All right, let me show you the back side of this painting. Back side of number 13 is, ooh, yeah, I like this one. All boundaried, bordered all the way around. I like that one quite a bit. Now, oh, I remember this one. This is one I don't like very much. I think I even thought about this in my sleep last night or the night before. It's the letter S. And really, just really a loser of a, if I may be so blunt, a really bad initial composition. I'm picking up blue and purple on my brushes right now. And bear with me just a minute. I'll go through quite a bit of medium. If you only use water to thin your acrylic paints, then the paint will run off your canvas and it leaves a very, very misty and unstable surface. But if you use medium, transparent acrylic medium, then you can leave a fairly transparent glaze layer, but it doesn't all run off. All right, this painting at the moment, it's kind of like one we had earlier, light above and dark beneath. And that's a possibility. I mean, that's what most landscapes are, correct? Light sky, dark ground, essentially. Well, I'm going to start. I need more purple, which means I'm actually going to pick up some red, mix it in with what's on. There we go. So I'm not a big fan of the shape that was already on this painting, so I'm obliterating it to a large degree, and I'm going to do the same thing I did in the last painting, which is pick up rags and lift out, if not light areas when I lift up, at least mid-tone. Okay, that's a very weak composition at the moment, I think. It's dramatic, I suppose, but nah. That was a big debate on that stroke. I was debating, do I go this way? You know, can you do a painting where essentially all the lines are going like this? And the answer is, yeah, of course, you can. Will it be a good painting? There's my short answer. It's like, yeah, probably not. So these shapes, or lines, I should say. Now I've got a bit of a little bit of a donut hole happening. Do you see? Get this strong white circle right here in the middle. Now I can either try to fix that now, or I can save that till the next layer, when I will be probably doing white. So I've completely obliterated the letter S. Doesn't matter. I didn't like the initial shape, but I'm not crazy about this. This is at the moment, it's a helter-skelter, freckle-faced, higgledy-piggledy composition. There's nothing really good happening, other than some really interesting texture. That's okay. Texture and color is interesting. But the major composition, not very exciting, but I think I'm going to let it go, because I think I can see that with my next layer, which will be opaque or nearly opaque white, I introduce some white stuff up here, and then anyway, in a lot of places. So I think I'm going to leave it, even though at the moment it's kind of, in my opinion, kind of weak. I think with the white layer, the major shapes will coalesce. So I'm just going to leave it at that, okay? Do I do any lines? Nah, it's got enough lines in it. Very subjective feeling. All right, Facebook, I'm going to fade out again as I carry this into the front yard. The neighbors must think their neighbors are crazy. think they all know I'm an artist, so they're used to it. Where are we in the countdown? All right, been through 13. 13 down. Here's number 14. Ooh, I like that one so far. And here's the back side of 14. Outer space. Kinda, sorta. And I give myself liberty to paint more on the back if I so choose. I'm not calling those finished. I can do more to them if I want. Right, at the moment, I have my hands full doing this. All right, I very much like the shapes in this one. I don't want my brushes real clean. I just want them a little bit clean. I've put not purple, yellow. I don't know my colors here, forgive me. Yellow orange, dirty yellow orange on my brushes. Wow, I just had hang on. Just had a podcast start talking in my ear. Isn't that crazy? I don't know if you could hear that or not. What is it supposed to be?
Yeah.
An abstract painting. Oh, what letter? Letter. It might have been the letter T. I'm not sure I'm down that far.
Still working up the kinks.
On this canvas, like the one I had a few minutes ago, I'm inclined to try to retain some of the bare white canvas. I think it's part of what was making it work. Now, if I do retain a lot of white, what I'm calling canvas, if I retain a lot of it, I will probably try to cover a significant portion of that. I won't be fussy and try to get every square centimeter, but I'll probably reinforce that white with opaque. I'm not liking the dirty marks I'm making today. With opaque white. Was that clear? Was that as clear as mud? So in other words, at some point I'll probably paint white on white. All right, I'm kind of liking that. A little bit of dripping here, but I think I want to make it drip. Make it drip more here. There we go. Yeah, and again, little skinny lines like this do not a composition make, right? They don't really count, so to speak. They're part of the painting, and you can certainly see them, but they're not a part of the composition, in my opinion, per se. They're too fine. The composition is essentially the big shapes, the large, light and dark shapes. Right, I think this one will be fun to, the next stage will be fun. By the way, because I'm throwing paint around at a more reckless manner than usual, I have extra drop cloths down here on the floor underneath. Not that after all, this is my painting studio. Has been for 13 years. So, as you can imagine, there's quite a bit of paint on the floor. Okay, it's not. speaking of Facebook people, as I was fading out on you, I was talking about all the paint that's on the floor. This has been my painting studio for 13 years, so it's not like some of you, if you've never seen my studio, hang on just a second. I'll pick you up and turn you around. First of all, let me show you some of my work surfaces. This is just a Stay Wet palette, a hodgepodge of colors. That's probably where I've been getting most of my color from. This is a cleaner set, my normal stuff. Here is my butcher tray that I'm mixing. And I haven't used this garment, but here's a whole bunch of toys and tools for making all kinds of texture, some of which I've made myself for scratching lines. Here's a bunch, I'm not using this at all right now, but I will later. A bunch of mediums, glitter, gel medium, gravel, rocks, sand, all kinds of stuff. Here's a whole bunch of transparent, flowing, transparent paint. And I guess that's all. Then just the normal stuff. And here's that's the dining room, which we use as the dining room. And my studio, forgive me giving you a quick turnaround. My wife is okay with this, believe it or not. When we moved into this house 13 years ago, she was looking for a house that I could have a studio, on the main floor. We have maybe company? Oh yeah, we do. Hello, Donnie, come on in.
God for cheap heat.
Come on in. I am. In fact, I can't exactly talk to you right now because I'm broadcasting on YouTube,
Go ahead.
and so. But I told them you were coming. Welcome, Donnie. Good to see you. So that's our first installment of our company here on the day. Come on in. Nancy's here somewhere. So is Alicia and the kids. They're all here somewhere. All right. There you go. That's my tour. Oh, I was starting to tell you, wasn't it? When we moved into this place 13 years ago, she was looking for a master bedroom on the main floor and a studio. So, perhaps you saw, my studio was pretty neat for an artist, for a painting studio, decorated in antique oak furniture. So it fits me, fits my personality. It's a cool studio. It's not a messy studio, except for the floor, because I do drip on the floor. We have rugs down that are there to catch a lot of the paint. That's their entire goal. Again, I'm seem to be strongly favoring the shaft of light composition. And that's okay as long as they're good paintings. It doesn't matter if they're similar, but usually I don't like coming up with a bunch of paintings that do look similar. But let's do some modification right now. Yeah, see, with a single stroke of the rag, I can impact that composition quite strongly. You might be saying, well, aren't you doing too many straight lines in your paintings? And that could very well be. No, I will do a number of. See, there was a big curve down here. See, there's a circle. That's watercolor sticks. Really fun. I need to buy more of those. They break fairly easy, so they get broken. That's some fun color right there. All right, once again, I think this is a bit of a hodgepodge composition, but I see how I can firm it up quite easily as soon as I introduce some white opaque stuff. This probably will be a shaft of light again, but I hope to make it a very interesting shaft of light. If you're going to make a shaft of light, doggone it, make it interesting. That's number 15. So I'll tell you what, I'll go ahead and get all, I think I can go all the way through the 20, and then we'll end this broadcast. Hello, Facebook friends. I faded out on you again, but I'm back. Never fear. Here's number 16. So you're catching this, that every painting always has the number attached to it. So when it comes time to start bidding, you'll tell me which painting you're making a bid on. Here's a painting with a big curve and straight lines in it both. And again, if I get a hankering, I'll paint more on this if I decide to do so. But I think that'll come later. All right, ooh. That was a nice ooh, by the way. I like this one. I know what color I want to go with. I want to go with warm yellow orange, and Donnie's here. My wife invited all these people to our house yesterday morning. All right. Pretty color. Now, as I've done on several of my recent paintings, I'm going to lift out a good bit of that with rags. This one, who knows? Is it going to stay a V for victory? I don't know. It's conceivable. It might. Don't know. But I think it's going to make it through phase 2. Basically, as a V shape. Yeah, let's do some scratching. By the way, I love these chip brushes. It's the brushes, that I use more than any other single brush. And I like the handle end too, because they're so good for scratching. All right, that's number 16. We're actually coming down the home stretch, aren't we? My wife will be glad to know I'm going to quit in 4 more paintings and help her finish. I was scurrying around all morning getting ready for company. Well, not much the morning, not all morning. Anyway, don't exaggerate here. But she'll be happy for my help. Our first company parked. We have enough room for 6 cars in our driveway. But he parked in such a way that no other car will be able to get in or out. Sorry, I shouldn't be laughing. Some people are spatially savvy and some are not. I'll offer to go move his car. All right, it's yellow. Yellow. It's blue. It is blue. Do I go purple or do I go green? I don't have very many green paintings, but I'm not particularly drawn to green paintings, so no, I'm not going to go green. I'm going to go purple. And I've kind of run out of purple paint, so use it. And putting that up on my butcher tray, and spray that with some water. And I wanted a dirty purple. I don't want real clean on this particular painting. Not feeling. So that means it's got yellow, orange, brown in it. All right, now. Boy, that's dark, isn't it? I'll be doing a fair amount of lifting out, I'm sure. All right, I'm going to stop right there. And a couple damp rags. I love painting with rags, by the way. They make big marks, much bigger than even well, comparable to this, I guess. Once again, I think the composition is a little bit weak, but I can easily see bringing white in here and extending that. I kind of like the white edge. Here's a tip I can give you. Most of you are familiar with the concept of a horizon, that you don't want the horizon in the middle, vertically or horizontally. You want either high or low, and left or right. In a similar vein, you don't want a painting that is half light and half dark. Generally speaking, you want your painting to be either a dark painting with light areas or a light painting with dark areas. And actually, most of the paintings that I've been going through today, I'm turning them into dark paintings that will have light areas. This one may be the exception. This one, I'm seeing the dark as the primary area and the object, so to speak, and the light area being the majority. It's a light canvas with dark areas. Right now, it's way too close to 50-50, even tending toward dark. But I expect, at the moment, the way I look at this, I see that changing. Be back in just a second. All right, you YouTube people, this is our moment to talk about our Facebook people who can't hear me. Because I'm out in the front yard. You can hear me, but they can't. All right, I lost your chance. There you go. That's it. Coming definitely down the home stretch. This is number 18.
That's a good thing. Yeah, there's ice in the back of Alicia's car and some other food that need to come in. Are you free? Can you get it?
I've got three more paintings to go, and I'll be done. It won't take long. 10 minutes, 12 minutes. Alicia, are you able to get that ice? You think? The letter X. Beautiful color. And once again, this is a canvas that I really like the lightness of it. So I think I want to maintain or retain the it being a dark shape against a largely light background. And I want to apply orange, yellow, orange. It's not very orange, it's pretty red. That's right. I will wipe it off though. There we go. Again, I'm going to wipe a lot of this off, I think. Good enough. Yeah, see now I've still got essentially the X mark, just the background is more color in it, but not so much so that it doesn't, it still has that sense of its dark shapes on against the light background, which I liked. I'll do some black lines in this. Black lines matter. All right, just 2 more to go. That's 18. Hang on, Facebook friends. I'm going to fade out. I'll be back in just a minute. I should take a picture of my front yard and post it on my Facebook. That would be fun. At the moment, I've got 18 paintings scattered across the front yard. Okay, just 2 more to go. I hope you're having fun. This is number 19. Wow. Once again, I quite like the feel of this, the clean feel, if you will, of this painting. I like the composition. I like this. Shoot, I should just sign this one and call it done. I won't, but it's a nice painting. I'll try not to ruin it. Here's the back side, side B of number 19. Woo. Clean up my easel, as you can imagine, with all this wet stuff, puddles of acrylic just gather right down at the bottom. All right, I really do like this painting and really don't want to ruin it, so to speak. So, but I am going to do something I haven't done exactly on any of the others, and that is I am going to go across the color wheel. So not my usual practice. I've got warm yellow orange on my, there's a reason for this, by the way. I'll explain it to you in a minute. Because the color that I'm putting on the canvas, quote unquote, the canvas, is a light color, yellow orange. And then now, especially after I wipe a bunch of it off, the effect will be that it's still very much a white canvas with a blue shapy shape. It's the letter Y, by the way, just for what it's worth. But now instead of a pure white or cool white, it's a warm white. It's quite just as pleasant as I thought it would be. Let me do a little bit of line and color. And the color there is chartreuse green. I like that painting. I can't wait to come back to it with opaque white and see what happens next. Okay, it's my last painting to take out to the front yard. Well, next to last. No, last one to go out in the front yard because number 20 I can just leave right there on the easel, can't I? All right. That didn't take long, did it? When you think about it. Now, I will toggle through this list of 20 paintings probably at least 8 times. So you've watched me do phase 2 on 20 paintings. In each painting, I expect to do at least 6 more times, perhaps more. Donnie, I'll be with you guys in just a minute.
That's all right, I'm just going to go move the car.
Likewise, I like the... I think the other day when I was doing this, it seems like I got better as with my compositions, with my shapes as the day wore on. I'm not sure that's true, but the last several, I've liked them just the way they are. And I'll pick up some medium here, my brushes. And there, again, that's kind of a little bit of a switch right there. I essentially just did a glazed, the same exact color. I didn't realize how close it was, but that doesn't matter. I'm fine with it that way. And as I've been doing throughout most of this session, I'm going to do some serious wiping off here. You know I'm getting serious when I stick up my tongue. I did just for a second there. Golly, I'm really getting into my work now. He's got his tongue in action. Two hands are definitely better than one, because your wrong hand, your subdominant hand, tends to make more interesting marks than your control hand. If you're right-handed, you're not control hand. If it's your left.
There you go. It's
That's
a little
kind of
hard.
nice.
Sorry about that.
All right, let's see if there's any chats I need to say hi. No, not too much. Thank you guys for your company. Thanks for making me do phase number 2 on 20 paintings. Tomorrow I'll do phase 3 and 4 and maybe 5, I hope, because I really got to make tracks. I'll expect these paintings, I'm delayed by the way, a long story, won't tell you, but I expected to work a full day Saturday and didn't work any. So I'm thinking Thursday these will be ready for you to see pretty much what they're going to look like, and you can start safely placing bids. And to place a bid, you just either in the comments or in the chat, live chat or comment after it's over. Just tell me painting number, whatever, and make a bid. You can say, I want to pay 25 cents. That's your prerogative. I won't sell it to you, but you know, if you want to just have fun, if you want to mock me and make me cry. I'm kidding. Anyway, thanks for your company. I hope to see you tomorrow. Bye-bye. The time. What time tomorrow? Or Thursday? No, it'll go on for days. It'll be auction open Wednesday, Thursday.